Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
I'm appalled at what you said on that pod thing. It's disgusting.
This is the After the Show podcast. It's where we get honest and real with yo ass. So sit back, relax, have a blast, 'cause it's time for the After the Show podcast.
What? What?
By the way, you did a great job on the new intros.
Oh, thank you.
Lovely,
Thank you.
lovely guys.
Well, thank you very much. This is the After Show podcast. I'm going to talk like Jodie Foster the whole time. I just wanted the lambs to stop. There is certain people, though, that do use podcasting voice. They talk kind of, more like this. More informative.
Totally. That's kind of how NPR is.
It is. It's very, we're going to talk about murder specials and murder cases. And
if you've never listened to This American Life, that NPR podcast, you really should. It's so good.
I am going to put that on my list of things not to do. Get out of here with your bullshit podcast.
It's so good. I love stories.
We all love stories.
It's stories for old people, but it's stories.
Yeah, there was one. We were on some trip, and I was driving with you, and I'm very much a music listener. I like to listen when I'm driving to music. If I'm at home, I'll listen to my whatever podcast I'm into. And we're driving to like Orlando, and you had that Serial podcast about murder. It was so slow and drawn out. And you were like halfway through, so I had no idea what the fuck was happening. Like, can we listen to some jams?
That one wasn't even that great, because the ending, I kept waiting for that one to and here's what happened, and it never happened. You kind of got left hanging.
Ugh, that's the worst when the payoff isn't there.
Yeah. I wanted it wrapped up in a bow on it.
Right.
It did not do that.
I get it. Sometimes you do things, you want to pay off, it doesn't happen.
Like a bit.
Like the Better Call Saul.
Yeah, Better Call Saul. We can try it again real quick here.
Yeah.
Someone's beating themselves up.
Well,
That was the only segment today I didn't think went good. I mean, I know there's other shitty segments I'm sure people will say, but that was the only thing that did not go great.
Yeah, those are tricky because I had tested out some of them, but some of them depends on the area code on some of them too. Like the one was a Colorado number, which is weird.
What's Colorado's little
719? At least where I was. I think they're all in that ballpark.
Where in Colorado exactly does your family stay at? Is it in the mountain snow area?
Dead center, yeah. It's pretty much all of it unless you're on the southern end. But like dead center in the state is Colorado Springs. It is right to the right of Pikes Peak, right to the east of Pikes Peak, which is like one of the taller mountains. So it's pretty cool.
Do people ski Pikes Peak?
So that one's tough. I mean, you could take a ride up there, but I mean, a lot of people that aren't from the area that go up to the top end up vomiting at the top because the altitude, the city itself's already high, not even including the mountain. So a lot of people go up there, they get nauseous. But yeah, no. So there's a team each year for New Year's. They hike up Pikes Peak.
Pikes Peak.
They hike all the way. It's hard to say.
I can't imagine why that hate email said you mumble.
Yeah, for real.
That was the best part of the show today. We were doing the KVJ hate song, and this person who gets on Denny's for not speaking properly and mumbling, and Denny's fucking mumbles and stutters.
Totally, man. He's right. I feel like that guy was right to say that.
That is the worst when the haters are
You
right.
mumbled over the word you mumble.
I mumbled over exactly what he's calling me out for.
That's awesome.
But yeah, if you go up there, it's pretty cool. They do that thing each year. So they hike all the way up, and then they shoot fireworks up at the top for the New Year's. Yeah, it takes them like 2 days or so to get up there.
So is Colorado pretty much like Oregon? Because when I was in Oregon, my sister told me, she goes, you're not going to have any kind of problem scoring legal weed here. There is a dispensary on every corner.
There is.
And she lives in a small, kind of like a, nothing against Port St. Lucie, but kind of like out in the farm Port St. Lucie area where there's not that much going on. So if you're going to get a burger, it's burger and weed, baby.
When we were in Portland, I spent like a good part of a whole day just walking around and looking at the city, which is my favorite thing to do, especially in a beautiful city like Portland in the summertime. It was gorgeous. And I probably passed, I would say, at least 10 weed dispensaries.
They got to be making a killing. That's the only thing I could think of. Because if it was a big problem, they wouldn't have so many open, right?
A big problem.
Meaning
for...
just the culture doesn't stand for it. They're against it. I mean, there's so much money's coming in. I think people are starting to go on board with it.
It goes both ways. I mean, they are getting a lot of flack for having so many, for sure. I think they're going to start passing laws where you can't have them so close to each other.
What would it be like to be like a super conservative person living in Portland, and then you hate like pot, and you think like all liberal stuff is terrible?
So it's weird because a lot of I've gotten many emails and they said, don't, say my name on the air, but they're conservative people that smoke weed. People think for some reason only hippies or people in their, early 20s smoke weed. I mean, I don't think that's true for any of that. People are layered. Everyone comes from a different background.
For sure. And if you're using it as medication, I mean, technically you could say the same thing for anyone taking prescription pills then. Like, Christians wouldn't be able to take that then either, because if it's a prescribed drug, like you're saying, in Oregon, it's recreational and it's medical.
But like here in Florida, 63% of the people voted for medical marijuana. But what about the percentage of people that didn't vote for it? And are so like, I don't want it. I think it's the devil makes weed.
There's people that email that anytime we do anything weed related, like the bits, Denny's knows when you're high or anything like that. People say they turn it off. They don't.
Totally.
Not everyone. I mean, we love Denny's, and the majority of our audience loves them some Denny's. But there are some people who are against Denny's and what he stands for.
Okay, and those are the people that we need to hear from.
Call in right now.
Yeah, I'd love to hear Denny's get yelled at and see how Denny's responds. It would be the most peaceful. Like they'd yell at Denny's. And, I hear your point of view.
Yeah, well, that's what
call it Talk It Out with Denny's.
Talk it out.
And people can call in and tell you why they hate you.
I look at it from all angles, man. I get it when people hate like what I stand for. I totally understand.
Of course you do, because you're so peaceful.
I don't care if people are mad at me.
I was watching John Mayer do this interview, and there was this. It was the elevator question. So he has a lot of haters, and they asked him, "Do you think, with your biggest hater, if you were stuck in an elevator with them for 30 minutes, do you turn them from a hater into, oh, John Mayer's a pretty cool dude?" And his response was pretty cool, and I agree with his response. Anybody can do that. I mean, people who don't really know each other. And, have you ever had somebody in your life where for some reason you're at odds with them, but you really don't know them that well, and then you get to know them. You're
For
like,
sure.
I'm not at odds with this motherfucker. He's a good person right here.
I like being at odds.
I know you do, but there's some people I think if you are at odds with and you had 30 minutes in it, if you were stuck in an elevator and you dropped the walls, you dropped the act, and you just are two people connecting,
Sure.
I think most people could win over their hater, don't you?
I think you're right.
For sure.
I think once you start acting like a human, a vulnerable, real person with feelings, and you just say, hey, what can I do to repair this and to make it up to you? Because I've obviously made you upset, and that's not what I want.
Well,
let's talk it out, Bubba.
Have you ever had it where you hated like your boss because your boss was just on your ass? They were just a bad, they never followed through with their stuff, but they were always getting you in trouble for things, and you're like, God, I hate my boss.
Don't talk about Kevin when he's not
Yeah.
here.
This is the After the Show podcast. Right? So I've had this in the past where I'm like, God, I hate my boss. And then you get stuck in a situation where you're with them and you see them become human. And then a lot of that hate goes away. You're like, this person's just a person too trying to make it.
It's weird when you see your boss vulnerable.
Or anyone
anybody in a position of power where you are, they're the ones that you're always reporting to. Same thing happened with my college baseball coach, who was a maniac. I mean, this guy hit me on purpose. I mean, he did a lot of crazy shit. And as soon as he acted normal, which is very rare, it felt awkward and real. Almost to the point where I want this motherfucker to hate me again. This is, it's odd. It was too uncomfortable.
My first boss in radio, her name was Melody, and she kind of taught me like everything I know about like all the sales side of radio, like the business, professional side of radio. And I really, to this day, credit her for making me fall in love with the whole business of it. She seemed to me like she had it like so together, and she was just so like just never made a wrong move, but yet I was always making wrong moves that she was having to call me out for.
Sure.
But then one time she invited all of us to her house, and it was for a party, and I felt so weird and awkward in her house because it was like a normal like a house, and I like, oh wow, she like sits here and watches TV like she's a human like me. Oh, like she had a dog, and like, oh, her dog had like 3 legs, so she has like things that aren't perfect exist in her life, and I just never imagined her to not be this perfect being.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it was too because I was so young. I was 19, And she was like the everything. She was like shaping my world. But I think back on it now, and I wonder, like, with my old ass eyes now, if I went back and looked at everything
old.
she did, so old. If I went back and looked at how she was doing everything, would I find a bunch of mistakes?
Yeah.
Or was she really that perfect?
I remember I had this therapist back in the day, and like the first month, I remember even telling my mom, "Hey, Mom, I really like this. She's awesome." And then about the 5th or 6th week, I kind of noticed something was going on in her personal life, and our therapy sessions were getting a little weird.
Oh.
And so it
Your
was,
therapist needs to hold it together.
yeah, so it was probably about maybe 6th, 7th, 8th week into it, and she breaks down and cries and starts telling me about her personal life and
I
all.
think you just get up and leave.
I was like, "What the fuck is this?" I'm looking at the clock. I'm paying you to help me. This is
For
weird.
once, you're looking at the
Yeah.
clock instead of them.
I'm like, this is so bizarre and uncomfortable. And when you have a therapist that now you're now wearing the therapist hat, so to speak, that's a weird place to be in.
Yeah, because you're not capable.
Well, nobody should be.
Nobody should be.
Going there
You're
to get
going
help.
through it because you're in pain, and this person's now crying to you. I'd have been like, "What the shit?"
Well, then I'm like,
real.
okay, so tell me about your symptoms. When were you? Why am I the doctor now? But I
You
mean,
prescribed her something. She left. She felt good.
I think therapy is very good if it's the right therapist. There's some
Yes.
great therapists out there, and there is some shitty ones out there.
That's true. That is so true. They have rating systems too. You can go on and you can research these therapists. So if before you go to a new one, do your homework.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a specialized one, really like focus in on somebody who does what you need.
Well, they're people just like you and I. If they're not very good and they're having a shitty attitude, which I've seen happen before. I know that's kind of a mind-blowing concept. That
but they hate their job.
they either hate their job or something's off.
Or they're
And,
going through the motions.
yeah, they
Yeah.
don't know how to keep their professional face on.
Well, so that's like in our profession, if we mess up, I mean, an audio bit goes weird or something, or we have to dump something.
Oh, we call a number and it doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. But like,
I'm not trying to harp on it.
You and Metal Beard Dan can't let the one fucking thing go.
better not call Saul. Well,
Metal Beard Dan said, "Yeah, I'll be in the elevator complaining." Metal Beard Dan, we love you. We're just giving you a hard time.
it's just fun to do.
Right?
I can't remember what I was talking about.
That's
Aw.
No, you're talking about, I forgot what we're talking
Yeah, I forgot to.
about. Trust me, what I was about to say wasn't any good.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
I got some emails. You want some of that?
Yeah, lay it on
I
us.
want a lot of that.
All you can handle. I'm gonna blow your face.
Oh yeah.
What? Didn't I say that earlier today?
You did. So you told me I should go in the hall and blow our coworkers.
I meant to say blow. That's it. I gotta figure that out because I said that like twice.
You gotta put
blow.
leaf in front of
Leaf
blow.
blow. Even when I wrote that in the prep last night. For the life of me, I could not think of what that contraption was called. I was writing down the blow thingy,
The air blow.
Yeah, blow piece. And I
Blow
thought,
me now.
I'm like, oh, fucking leaf blower. That's what it's called.
Definitely not blow piece.
Definitely not blow piece. Yeah.
All right, this email is from Erica. It says, "Hey guys, so recently I had an interview for a pharmacy tech position at a local drugstore. I won't say the name of it. She says, I was led into the office for the interview, and I was shocked by how messy and dirty it was. And it smelled so strongly of cigarettes, I could hardly make it through the interview. I'm pretty sure somebody smokes in that room. That's how strong it was. The interview seemed to go well, but I've yet to hear back from them. As soon as I walked into the office, I wondered, is this a place where I even want to work? It seems to me that the manager's office and the workers probably don't spend a lot of time in there, and if they do, they're in there smoking. Do I want to work at a place that has a smoking office, and is it reasonable to judge a potential place by how they keep their office?
I don't think that's too judgy. I mean, they're smoking in their place of business.
And if you're in the pharmacy field, I mean, don't you know better?
For
That's
real.
fucking insane. No, you are not weird to question any of that.
Don't
any
work
business.
for them. Don't work with them. I mean, I think, too, if you're having interviews with somebody and the office is all messy, that just shows that you don't have it together.
That's my whole thing about restaurants. If the front of the house is shitty and looks gross and disgusting, and I'm talking about menus that have dried up stains and syrup or whatever or sauce.
Even though you're the guy that probably has spilled the syrup, that's ironic.
Why you gotta be a dick all the time?
And they should have a thing that cleans the menus.
Thank you, Denny's. Thank you.
Despite what's spilled on it.
Or bathrooms that are all gross and.
That's a big one.
I've heard that from a lot of chefs. When you go into a restaurant's bathroom, look around. That's how they keep the kitchen.
Oh, I mean,
So if you're in the bathroom and the bathroom is a hot mess, disaster, gnarly, just know that's probably how the kitchen is too.
So how does that work? If you're a manager of a restaurant and you are in charge of a staff, do you make your employees once an hour go in the bathroom and slick it up? I think that would be something on the duties list. That whether it's
Duty.
duty, whether it's the waiter or waitress or the bar back or whoever, someone needs to go in there and make sure there's not a turd on the wall, there's not bullshit toilet paper hanging from the nozzle of the sink.
Yeah.
You're right. Just do a spot check once
quick-
an hour.
quick spot check.
Some places have that little form where the employees have to come in
Sign
there and
off.
sign it and mark the time. But, I mean, just every hour, all the employees, whenever they go in there, should be checking it.
We stopped at a place yesterday that was so gross. We walked in there and we're like, do we want to leave? We
Debated.
We debated about it. It was right after Pride Fest.
Yeah.
And my taste buds aren't back yet
There's so many great restaurants downtown Lake Worth. Why did you go shitty?
because we were feeling adventurous. We hit we said pizza places near us, and it was the first one that took us there. It was a place we'd never heard of. It was right there. I hadn't tried it yet, and holy shit balls, man, was it rough. It was a terrible experience.
Yeah, Bird can't even taste, and it was rough.
I had the opposite experience. After Pride Fest, I went to a restaurant right there on Lake Ave that was amazing.
We ended up giving our food away to someone on the
Really?
street. It was that. Denny's instantly had a stomach ache.
So I eat 2 slices while driving, and I was like, I gotta pull over.
He had to pull over. They choked him out.
I had to take a break and stretch my stomach.
People want to know what place it's called. I'm not in the. I don't like destroying
Totally.
a place because we had a shitty experience. Because maybe they had a bad day. Who knows? It was a bad experience. I'm not going to say the name, but it was in Lake Worth.
Well, I had a great experience. I will build them up. Lilo's Street Food and Bar. It was delicious.
I've heard of that place before.
It was everything I wanted and more. They had these fried avocado slices.
Those are so good.
They were fried so perfectly cooked with the most amazing dipping sauce that kind of reminded me of like the sauce you get with a bloomin' onion at Outback.
Oh, that's so good.
It was so good.
I'm so hungry.
I had an octopus taco. That was delicious.
Bird, you like?
You're making me so mad. I'm tuning out. I'm getting ready to fight with people in the chat room now. I'm
I
tuning
had
out.
char-grilled
This is the
oysters.
fucking worst.
I had such good food, so I'm calling you out. Lilo's killing it.
Yeah, squid pie, Denny's.
That would be a punishment for you, an octopus taco.
I had an eel hot dog. It was fucking just mwah.
Eel dog sounds good.
Yeah.
Does it? I was trying to
You
think.
eat eel, right? Yeah.
I do. I like eel sauce too.
Japanese love eel with eel sauce. Eel's cooked. It's not raw.
Yeah, for
I don't
sure.
give a shit.
They don't serve you eel raw.
I don't care. It's still gross. Cook it, bake it, raw it. I don't care. It's gross.
Yeah.
All right, this email is from Kate. She said, "Hey guys, I got this message unsolicited to my Instagram and I thought you might be interested." The message says, "Hi, my name is John and I like what I see in your profile. I would like to have you as my sugar baby. Feel free to contact me on my cell phone," and then he gives the number.
You guys talked about this, sugar babies.
Are guys just going through Instagram and looking at chicks' profiles and saying, "Hey, DM, I want to..."
No, guys aren't doing that. Yes, of course guys are fucking doing
I think there's no
that.
shame in the game anymore. I think guys will just straight up ask for it now.
Social media has
Same with women.
Well, it has changed the game when it comes to dating because now it's not a weird. Like you can ask somebody out via Instagram or Twitter now. You can do it. People, I know somebody that's in a long-term relationship because they met on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, for a lot of people, that's the way they were raised with having the social medias. For us, we look at it and we're like, all right, we're using social media. But I think the next generation, man, I think they're really used to it.
All right, couple things brewing in the chat room. Let's
What
see
you
what
got?
We got Bird's very feisty today. I think giving out his number, getting all those texts causes this feistiness. No, I'm just, it's Monday, motherfuckers.
I almost said you were a little feisty.
I am. I'm feisty on a Monday. I actually like Mondays.
Did you
Yeah.
get sleep?
No, I'm going on adrenaline. Hence why I'm so feisty.
Yeah, that's why you're daffy.
I will. Yeah, I'm totally gonna crash at some point. Anytime Kevin's out, these days are always so funky.
Well, let's go eat a bunch of buds and then pass out. Not together.
PTFO.
By the way, it's so funny about the texting that bit we did earlier. So we did Risk Your Number, where Virginia and Denny asked me questions about the Braves, and we gave out every number but one, so everyone figured out pretty much. So what people were doing was they were taking every number combination possible because they just had it. So the group.
They built a group text
Yes.
with every last digit possible, and they just texted that.
So my number is tagged with all of these other wrong numbers. So people are starting to respond. Who the fuck is this? Bigfoot is real. What kind of bullshit? It's so funny.
That's awesome.
Oh my god.
Obviously not listening.
I gotta probably change my number. People figured out my number.
You think?
Yeah. I mean, I can't even get into my phone.
It's all jammed up.
It is. I love it.
That's so funny.
All right, this one's from Denise, and she's calling me out. It says, seriously, Virginia, are you really blaming the movie Dirt for Rocco's potty mouth? What a joke.
I love it. Well, they didn't even swear. you were dropping F-bombs in the dirt. Virginia, they didn't drop that many F-bombs in the dirt.
You meant the dirt of the day.
Look, when I was sitting there with the headmaster from Rocco's preschool, it was super uncomfortable. Not only was she in the room, but it was also the lady that helps run it. So the two bosses of Rocco's school are there. And I'm just grasping at straws. I'm like, whatever I can come up with, like the transfers the blame off of me to somebody else. And I'm sorry if I put it on the crew. I apologize. But I was not taking the heat.
I like it.
You got to put it on somebody else.
Throw Motley Crue under the bus.
Throw Motley Crue under the bus. What do I care if she's mad at Vince Neil? I don't know Tommy Lee. Fuck them.
So to me, that's got to be one of the most uncomfortable things ever. Being a parent and sitting in a forced meeting where there's nowhere to run about your kid either or whatever. You know, he was swearing.
He pushed a kid. So on the playground, Rocco kind of like got mad at a kid and told him, "Stop it, motherfucker." That's what he
Damn.
said to another 3-year-old. And he said it within earshot of the teacher. And he also doesn't completely understand that he's not supposed to say that.
What do you like? How do you handle this
Well,
situation?
they handled it at school.
But what
so-
do you do though? Don't you have to kind of handle it?
Well, she told us not to bring it up again because we don't want to spotlight it.
Yeah.
But she did say, you need to stop cursing in front of your child and you need to stop exposing him to things.
Okay, question. And I could be old school, and I know I don't have kids. I thought putting a little bit of fear in kids kind of gets their asses in line. I know that worked with me. Anytime I acted a fool and did something that was inappropriate, my parents scared the shit out of me, and I didn't do that anymore. Are you not allowed to do that with parenting? I mean, obviously you're not going to be a complete dick to your kid, but you don't you have to have a little bit of fear for that kid?
Yeah, I think a little bit of fear is good. It's just a delicate balance and, what you're comfortable with in your house, I would tend to stay on the side of I want to talk to Rocco and get him to understand and maybe bribe him with treats or
But again,
taking
though,
away
so-
the treats.
So that's another thing people get bribing. Should you be bribing the kid? I'm merely asking. Again, I don't know the answers.
Yeah, I'm not saying I know it all. I'm just saying here's what I do because I'm comfortable with it. I think everybody has to parent their own style, their own comfort level. I'm really not comfortable with corporal punishment. I don't really want to hit him.
Yeah,
For sure.
and I'm not saying
I mean, he has been swatted, don't get me wrong, but it's very rare.
And I'm not saying either that you got to come down with all this fear or anything, but I'm just saying, I'm just looking back in my life when what I did wrong, and I knew, I was trying to test those boundaries. Yeah, when my mom and dad kind of said, all right, shut the fuck up, you little asshole. No. They put a little fear in me. I did fall in line. Now, that might not work for everybody. I don't know.
Yeah, I think every kid's going to be different. And
For sure.
even how I parent Mags is different from how I'm going to have to parent Rocco.
Did you parent Mags? How did you parent her?
She was pretty easy. Honestly, like when she was like his age, she really didn't cause that much trouble. I can only think of like a couple of meltdowns when she's actually been in trouble. She doesn't really do anything that bad, knock on wood. I mean,
Denny's, you and your wife have been married for almost a year now. Obviously, the next level is, kids.
Yeah.
And you're a laid-back cat. Let's say you have a situation, your kid is not listening to you, kind of running a roughshod on you. How do you handle that? Do you just talk to him? Do you put some fear in there? What's the Denny's school of thought?
Yeah, I think you have to be stern. My parents used fear and like embarrassment, and it pretty much gets you in line pretty quick.
Public called out embarrassment will get your ass in line.
I've told you the story before, Bird, but there was one time I went to the high dive, and I was standing at the top. There's a line of people, and I'm like kind of holding it up because I was like, oh shit, this is high, And I hear from the distance my mom yell, "Jump, you pussy!" Like in front of everybody. So I had to jump because I got called out on the spot.
You need to put that up on a thread on Twitter. It's hashtag Asian moms be like.
Yeah, she's just like, she can't believe that I'm the one holding up the line. So she's just like, fucking jump,
She was uncomfortable with the fact that her son was the reason why the line was moved.
I think
so
she was
her.
more annoyed. I don't think my mom didn't really feel the embarrassment. I think she was just like, what's my son being a pussy for, And like tells me to jump. And I'm like, oh shit, that was my mom. So then I had to jump.
Jump, you pussy.
Yeah, I know, right? In front of all my friends and in my class.
You've been called out a lot publicly.
Oh, totally. Well, that kind of like shaped how I was like, all right, I don't want my mom calling me out in front of all my friends again. So I kind of got a big fear from that. So
but where's the line between like calling out and being funny and like bullying?
Well, that wasn't funny at the time. Now looking back, I think it's hilarious.
No, I think your mom was doing that to teach you a lesson. Don't hold
totally.
up lines. If you're gonna get up on that line, you better jump. If not, get your ass off.
Well, so my mom's side of the family is very Asian, so they are very like, do not burden or disrupt anyone else. Like if you're on a train or a plane or an automobile, you don't talk to anyone. You don't mess with anyone. So that's how I was always raised. Don't fuck with people. And so like if I was holding up something, or even my grandma would call me out, they would all call me out. It's weird having Asian parents calling you out.
I kind of feel like we need more of that. Man.
You need to go on the Twitter thread. Asian parents be like. It is so funny.
I think more families need to call out their family members.
Thank you. Some
do.
people need to have a little Asian mama.
I completely agree. Sometimes you got to be slightly embarrassed to learn. How do you know where the line is at? My mom embarrassed me so bad in public at a store called Jefferson's because I was jumping on the rack, knocking things over. I wouldn't listen to her, and she embarrassed my ass in front of everybody to the point Bird was in tears.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, so I think that embarrassment really does it because, like, there was one time I went to go pay for dinner. We all went to a dinner after karate. I was probably like 9 or 10. I didn't even know how to count money yet. And it was a big Italian guy at the pizza place, and he's like, "Hey, tell your dad he's giving me the wrong change," like that type of thing. So I didn't know how to count money. So I went back, and my dad's like, "Tell him he's counting it wrong." So I had to go back and mediate between the two of these guys yelling at me.
Oh.
And I was so embarrassed. And my dad's like, "Tell him he's wrong. Tell him to his face." So I'm like, I had to go back and tell the guy he was wrong. But like all of that, doing things that
Who was wrong?
It was the guy. He was wrong. He had counted it wrong. So my dad's like, no.
He thought he saw a little kid.
And so he was like picking on me kind of because I'm a kid. So he didn't know that, my dad was like, no, tell him he's wrong.
He was skimming.
Well, so I was like, here, you go tell him, all shy like a kid. My dad's like, no, you go tell him. And so I had to go tell this dude. I really didn't want to. I wanted to just leave.
Of course, because you're like, I don't want a confrontation. I can't even count money.
But that forced confrontation made me do something I didn't want to do. And then next time I had to tell somebody that was wrong, I had an easier time doing it because I had already done it before.
Well, you always see that one quote, and I'm paraphrasing. It's like you got to make sure that you are out of your comfort zone. That's the only way you can grow. And I do believe that. It sucks because I think once you're an adult, you don't have somebody force, like you had your parents on your ass saying, you gotta do this, you pussy, die. Go back to the big Italian guy. But let's say you're 35 years old and you don't do things because they make you uncomfortable. You get nobody pushing you unless you're married.
Yeah, you're right. And that's, you kind of, they say always, be with somebody who challenges you in some aspect.
Do you do things that make you uncomfortable still, or do you think you're kind of in a comfort zone?
I think I'm in an old comfort zone.
They say that's when that's when you lose it all. You're too comfortable. You got to get a little. We got to make the witch a little bit more comfortable.
You got to get called out.
Yeah. You've been living the Tequesta easy life a little too long, Virginia.
Yeah, it sucks getting called out. It sucks doing anything you hate doing. But, I mean, sometimes I guess there's a lesson to be had there.
I think, too, when you're a little kid, the public embarrassment happens a lot more because you're still figuring it out. I mean, that one time when in preschool, it was my first day of preschool, and we got done with snack time, and everyone was done, and I eat so quick. So I'm like, all right, man, I'm going to go play with these toys. These toys look awesome. I start playing with the toys. Everyone else is still eating. And my preschool teacher, no, you are rude. You do not play with toys when everyone else is. I'm like, fuck. I told my mom that. She pulled me out. She's like, no, they don't embarrass my kids.
But I think all that adds up, though, and shapes you.
It does.
All right, this one is emails from Stephanie from the PSL. It says, good morning, KVJD. I was hoping you could read this short email for my B. He gets it. He loves the show, and he endures my crazy fandom. He's been in Colorado for the last month, and he's going to be listening to you guys on his drive back when you read this.
Oh, look at that.
Talked about Colorado.
Yeah, look at that.
Ooh. I love you guys, and I love him, and I can't wait till he gets back home. He is my forever, so life is just basically yucky when he's not here. She says the little fuzz nuggets are missing him too, so aw.
No.
On a side note for the show, you never fail at making my day. I love it with your shenanigans. What you should bring back is Facebook fishing, because I love the accents. I belly laughed at them. The reenactments, too, were awesome. Is there any way to work out something similar like that? Also, I love when you put on Aunt Anne, or have those phone calls where you conference Anne with somebody and they don't know what's going on.
Yes.
I have faith that you'll come up with some good stuff, because I love and miss you guys. And I'm also sending love and miss to my B. Get home soon, from Stephanie.
Where are you guys at? What's your opinion on Facebook fishing? I was looking at my notes. We've been doing Facebook fishing since 2012. That's how long we've been doing Facebook fishing.
I think it's funny if we see a really good one,
Yeah.
and then we do that, and the material has to be awesome. A lot of times, people don't come hard enough for each other.
Yeah.
It's like they fight light. I want like really good ones, the ones that you see like a couple fighting with each other on Facebook, and you see the whole demise of their marriage right there on Facebook. Like, that's the shit I like.
Yeah, you wonder if people have wisened up a little bit too, because when at first, man, remember how much stuff people used to put up, how much dirty laundry constantly. I think
because they didn't understand.
Yes, now you realize that's permanent.
There's people that in my personal life, and look, I have Facebook fish in my time. I'm not trying to throw stones over here, but I feel like I've learned a little bit. Some of my family or friends, they gotta tone it down a little bit. It's too out there. It's too extra. You're coming off like a fucking crazy person.
Yeah, I've been seeing it a lot too with my friends.
All right, this one is from Samantha, and it said, hey guys, so tonight was the Kardashians premiere, and I watched it. I recalled how the recent Khloe drama with her guy cheating was talked about on your show. And could it be a possible thing to get viewers for her show? Do you think that he really cheated on her?
We're going to end the fucking podcast on a Kardashian. Yeah. Can I see this, please? Please.
No.
No?
She's got a question. Do you think that it was a whole fabricated thing?
Everything they do is fabricated! It is.
Yeah, you're right. They have to sell stuff.
All right, calm down. The neck vein is poking out.
I don't trust anything a Jenner, a Kardashian, a fucking Kylie, a Kendall, a Khloe, a Carmen, a Kim, any of them. Whatever their names, I trust nothing that they do.
All right.
I trust nothing.
I had one more thing I wanted to ask you about.
Okay, bring it on.
So this was something I saw yesterday, and I really didn't know how to handle it in the moment.
Uh-oh, we're about to get deep.
It is kind of deep.
All right.
I think it's a little too deep for the real show.
All right.
So it had to come to the podcast because I kind of felt weird, but I don't think I did the right thing.
Okay, well, give it to us, Mama.
Okay, so it was at Pride Fest, and we were out there, and we were with the radio station, and so it's us, and it's our coworkers in the promo department that are, driving the vehicles and working the event with us, and we've got one coworker that's really attractive. I think you know who I'm talking about. Good-looking kid.
Is it me or Kevin?
Neither one.
I think I know who you're talking about. Yes.
So he's really attractive, and it's really, really obvious. And I think he's a male model. Not that I went on his Instagram and stalked him or anything.
Not that I found his page.
Not that I liked all of his pages.
Okay, creepo, what else you got? Where's this going? This sounds like this is a Red Shoe Diary.
Yeah, what are you about to confess?
It's not anything bad. I noticed that maybe some of the other employees kind of give him a hard time. Because he's so good looking, maybe, or because, whatever.
Is this going to be one of those fucking things where we have good looking discrimination, hot discrimination? I can't.
Well,
I
I
can't
think
do
he
it.
was getting bullied because he's so cute. I think he was kind of being ribbed a little bit more than anybody else.
Really?
And he really seems like a sweet guy. But should I have stepped in and said, stop being mean to him because he's cute? Like, what do you say?
Definitely not.
Boo fucking who? Okay. I know what you talk about. He's doing fine. You're letting your downstairs cloud your upstairs.
No, not at all. I just feel like why we got to be mean to a guy because he's good looking? Be nice to him.
You're only. That's the craziest shit you've ever said on the air. And you've said a lot of. You have no idea why they're being mean to that cat. It could have been drama from 20 minutes earlier.
Sure.
You think he's good looking, so you think everyone hates him because he's good looking.
I just want everybody to be nice to the hot guy because I don't want to lose him.
I'd have to hear how they were ribbing him.
Yeah,
They were ribbing him. That's what it is.
Mama, you sound off on this one. I don't know.
He's too
think
good looking
I
to be
am.
ribbed.
No, be nice to him. We need more hot people on our team.
I love when hot people complain. I'm so hot.
All of our team is good looking. We do have some cuties.
We
I'm
do.
so hot, man. I got these abs. Everyone looks at me. Look at my abs. Like they show them off to you. Motherfucker, you're good looking. You know.
At the fair, somebody said I looked hot while I was sitting in the truck.
Okay.
But then they handed me a hat because they said I looked hot. Like the sun was on me. I was like, oh, yeah, thank you. I do need this. I was like, whoops.
I don't know if you guys saw my embarrassing moment. This woman comes up. Oh, picture. I'm like, yeah, sure thing. I go in to take a picture with her. No, can you take a picture of me and my girlfriend? Yes, no problem. Anybody see? That happens all the time.
That does happen a lot.
That sucks.
That does suck because there's a group of people watching.
Well, I was at Smart once standing in line, and the guy behind me just started chatting with me all about all this stuff. He was like, hey, cool, and shook my hand and all this stuff. And I was like, cool, man, so do you listen to the show? He's like, what show? I was like, oh. He actually was just a nice dude. He wasn't even talking about the KVJ show.
That is
What
weird.
show?
Yeah,
I
no.
was like, never mind.
Anytime a stranger talks to me for longer than 2 minutes, like, oh, you're a listener. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Listener? What am I listening to?
It's embarrassing.
It's very embarrassing.
Oh,
Is that
man.
it? Is that all we got?
That's it, baby.
We're stopping this greatness?
Well, we're good. We hit 38 minutes.
Okay, that's a good
That's
deal.
good.
Decent, all right.
When we started, well, right before we started, we said it's going to be 10 minutes.
Yeah,
We're
we
getting in
did.
and out. I got a hangover from Pride Fest.
All right, well, that's it. Kevin, back tomorrow.
Yeah, back to normal. Yeah, back to normal. I didn't mean to step on anything.
I've been stepping on y'all more.
We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.